And we are back. Joining me now is Scott Sedita, an acting coach here in LA. He's the author of Scott Sedita's Guide to Making It in Hollywood: 3 Steps to Success, 3 Steps to Failure. And also joining me now is actor John Gary's. I knew that, from Indiana. He also just moved to town to break into the business, and he's been doing some independent films. Great to have you here today,
Thank
John.
you so much.
Scott,
Yes.
welcome back.
Yeah, basically I got here in about October, and I've really been hustling at the student film scene.
Oh, good.
I didn't get right into acting school, as a lot of people say I should. I just really wanted to focus on getting on film. You know, I've done a lot of stuff throughout the Midwest, a lot of independent features, and worked at Columbia Film College in Chicago. I just have a movie release, actually. Here's the action figure from my latest film release.
And is that you?
No, that is not me.
It's
That's
me.
the star. I'm starring in it too with Richard Miles here. It's actually David Taggart. It's an independent horror film. Should have an international release coming out in late fall of 2008.
I think you're more of a producer than an actor. Look at you.
Well, you know,
Scott, we got some new blood for you.
Promote.
Mentalscars.com, definitely. I want people to get out and check out the film.
Good for you.
And, you know, I'm a real estate investor in the film. He is actually one of the last of his Indian tribe, and I'm trying to take over his land, the last piece of his land, and he doesn't like that too much. So he goes on a rampage on all of the real estate investors. So check that out, mentalscars.com. This was actually built by herobuilders.com in Oxford, Connecticut. So, yeah.
All right. Well, Scott, you're the acting coach here who helps break it. You helped Brandon Roth and Josh
DeMille and Chase Crawford, yes.
So what do you say to our newcomer here?
I say that I think that obviously he has a really good in on doing something as far as independent films. I think that's terrific. And what I say is that in order to become a great tennis player, you need to practice playing tennis. And you need to make sure that you have a coach to help you and to take you to the next level. So the more that you practice, the more confident you feel about your acting, and then the more available you will be to go out on more auditions. So I don't, you know, but I think there is something to be said about learning on the set and doing. I don't know about the independent
Now,
films.
don't shoot me for saying this, John, but when we talked the other day, he told me, I'm putting him on the spot here. He said, you know, that on classes, he said, you know, look, I've been doing these independent, you know, I want it now. He doesn't, I hate to say, don't want to say waste of time in the classes, but he wants the job. So what do you say to somebody who says that? I mean,
I think that you have to work. And you have to work on your craft, because acting is a craft, and if you want to be a good actor, you need to keep working on that and expanding your horizons of acting with comedy and all different types. So you know, the good thing, if you came to this town and you weren't actively doing different films, I would say then you're just like everybody else who wants to be an actor but doesn't want to study acting. And I would probably say to you that the best thing for you to do is get yourself on a reality show. But you know,
indeed, may I say, your New York Goes to Hollywood and Fight for Fame?
Yes, I've done a number of them. So, and there's a difference between somebody who is those people who are on reality shows like Survivor and Amazing Race, and an actor. I believe an actor has an innate ability to act, and in order to act, they need to have that innate ability. And then they train, just like Tiger Woods, just like any athlete. You would never expect Tiger Woods not to be training how he does, and he still trains. So I say in the actors.
But what do you say to people? I hear a lot of people, I mean, I hear that from so many people. Actually, Stephen J. Scannell just said it. But a lot of people say, look, I don't have the money.
You know, that's just an excuse.
Okay.
I mean, there's no excuses. That if you really want it, and I've found, in being in the business for so many years, actors who really, really want it are the successful actors. I was the agent of Courtney Cox, Matt LeBlanc, Christopher Maloney. Those guys want it, and that's really what it takes. But the problem with the want is that with every want, there's an obstacle, and that obstacle is fear. And a lot of actors fear getting into a class, exposing themselves, working really hard on their craft, and therefore they make excuses. I don't have the money.
Maybe they don't like some of those teachers. Now, Scott is great, but he is, I think, one of these tough teachers.
Me?
I know you couldn't tell that, but you know, maybe people are intimidated or they can't handle the feedback. You know, it's to have a room full of people and you're saying, look,
it's a little safer to stay in this arena and not have anyone kind of. Yeah, absolutely. But that's, you know, if you really.
I'm scared of him, by the way. I won't go to his class.
You shouldn't be. I'm
See what he does to his reality stars.
I know. I'm pretty supportive. I believe in being supportive, but being tough. I think people people need to know the truth. So, but I will tell you this, that the fact that you're doing independent films is great, but if you go and meet an agent to get to be with an agency, they'll simply say to you, who are you studying with?
Right.
And they're going to want to know that.
They do.
Unless the work that you're doing on those films and the reels that you give them, they go, oh my God, this guy's the next Tom Cruise. Who gives, who?
You know, and you really learn a lot from classes. I mean, I do attend class, and I've gotten into class now, but when I started, it was like, where am I going to live? Or what type of job do I
That's absolutely. Those are the things. When you get to LA, you need to finally first get a place to live. You need to get a car. You need to get your comfort zone,
Exactly.
and you need to have that comfort zone. But getting into acting class is a good idea the first 3 or 4 months you're in LA because you get to meet other actors, and that's where you bond, and that's where you find your support system.
Yeah.
Well, and there's even what the networking aspect. I mean, from the business side, as far as, I mean, you're well known in the business. You know people, your student. I mean, they come looking for people.
Absolutely. Well, it's just also knowing other actors who they're represented by it. The great thing about coming to LA is that when you are in acting class, and a good acting class, there will be other actors either starting out like you are or already on TV shows. Right. So you'll get a really good flow of what's out there and making connections. Absolutely, it's a great part of it.
And I was always a little bit in fear that, oh, my natural talent is going to be taken from me when I attend an acting class.
Really? That's interesting.
Beaten down.
Yeah, you know what? It only should be enhanced by the right teacher.
It does. Now that I'm attending.
How do you know how much good innate ability you have?
Yeah, exactly. I was in fear of it, though, because when you have a natural talent, you're like, oh, is this person going to beat me down and then try to remold me into something that I don't even want to be?
You know, I'll honestly tell you, I understand that fear, and it's about finding an acting teacher that works well with you and works well with what you naturally have, your innate ability. So I understand that. But not doing anything and not going towards it is not experiencing the fear.
Yeah, I tell anyone in entertainment that you have to constantly study at any craft, even the big actors. They have acting coaches come on set and coach them for their new roles and whatnot. So to not be in acting class is you're totally shooting yourself in the foot.
Very good.
If you're not learning, then you're not getting any better.
Scott, you say it takes talent,
confidence and perseverance. Staying in confidence in yourself, and then having an acting confidence, two different kind of confidence. As we grow up, and sometimes our parents don't instill confidence in ourselves, and so we can learn confidence, unlike talent.
And I've heard that from people, and not just, I mean, people say to me sometimes, and John, maybe you've heard this, but friends or family don't support them. So what do people do in that situation?
Support systems. You also have to find a good, strong foundation of confidence for yourself. But the biggest thing advice that I give about an actor feeling confidence is when you do the work, when you study, when you do the work, when you go out in auditions and you feel good about the work, that gives you more confidence about yourself and about your craft. And it's kind of interesting. The more you train, the more confidence you get. The more confidence you get, the more you'll persevere. You'll stay in the game. You'll find ways to network. You'll find ways to do what you came out to Los Angeles and do, and not lay back and do nothing, because that's the problem. A lot of people come out here and they don't do what they need to do, all because of fear.
I tell you, I only keep the people around me that are supportive of what I'm doing, and if they're looking down upon me or trying to move me in a negative direction, I just move them out of my way.
Good.
I try to keep a solid base of good friends and people around me.
That's
if
excellent.
they're into entertainment or not. And I just have another question for you, because on LA Casting, there's so many jobs for reality shows. I mean, reality shows is just killing the television market. But me, as an actor, I really want to be on film, on movies, on the big screen. So what do you say to an actor that is coming out here, wants to be on the big screen, to doing reality shows? Because I don't do any of them at all.
Well, that's okay. I don't think you necessarily need to do a reality show. And as I said before, someone who does a reality show doesn't necessarily mean they're an actor. They probably have, some of them don't have any innate ability to act, and when they get off the reality show, it proves it, because how many reality stars have actually turned in to become good actors? Yeah, probably just a handful of them. The point is though, there's no need for you to do a reality show, and that's cool. The other thing I wanted to tell you, though, when you said I want to do films, and that's great, and go after that goal, but when you meet an agent, one of the things an agent wants to hear from you is this: I want to do TV.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear I want to do independent films, because the basic bottom line fact is that business-wise, there's no money in independent films. That doesn't mean you, as an artist and a craftsman, can't go after independent films. That means that you have to have a very good understanding of the fact that that agent wants to send you out on CSI CSI. And that means you need to know about that show, and you need to know what kind of genre that is, and you need to make sure you prepare for those auditions.
I'm so sorry, guys. We are out of time. Thank you very much, Scott Sedita. John, Scott's book
I wish
is
you luck.
Thank you, Scott.
Scott Sedita's Guide to Making It in Hollywood. We'll be right back.